Welcome back to another edition of Special Situations Investing with Greg. This week I'll be doing an update on the merger for Spirit Airlines from Frontier. Check it out. Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of my YouTube channel on Special Situations Investing and my personal investing practice. As a quick disclaimer, this video is for educational purposes only. Any companies that I mention in this presentation are discussed solely for illustrative purposes. Discussing such companies and the specifics about them is to help educate me and educate you about certain special situations. It is not a solicitation to purchase them. I recommend that you conduct your own research and identify why you might want to own the company yourself prior to your committing of any funds. I also recommend that you seek the services of a financial advisor that has considered your personal situation as your fiduciary. And then finally, may your education here grow your knowledge, improve your personal investing performance, and give you the confidence to take control of your future. Thanks a bunch for watching. Now on to the video. Welcome back, mutant investors. So a couple of weeks ago, I made a video about the offer from JetBlue to purchase Spirit Airlines. And I stated that I wasn't that interested in that because it seems like there's a lot of stuff going around with that, and I'm not too fond of airlines in general. But I decided to do a little bit of a revisit today because I thought that things have changed in this investment, and I think it's becoming quite interesting, or even more interesting. In full disclosure, I'm not planning on investing in this, but I just find that it's a very fascinating situation that's going on right now. Namely, what has happened is over the past week, both Frontier and JetBlue have increased their offers for Spirit Airlines by $2 per share. And this is really interesting, and I didn't spend a lot of time talking about the Frontier investment last time, so I want to just give a quick little overview of that with the updated numbers. So this is including that additional $2 a share cash offer from Frontier. So Frontier, it's not a total cash offer, it is an equity and cash offer, and the cash offer was increased, but the equity stayed the same, and the current rate that they're offering is for shares of Frontier Airlines in lieu of shares of Spirit Airlines. And Frontier Airlines trades under ticker symbol ULCC. Spirit Airlines under SAVE. And the rate that they're offering shares is about it's almost 50% of the company, and basically it's about 1.91 shares of Frontier for every one share of Spirit Airlines. So that included with the cash offer, now including that additional $2, is about an additional $4.13 per share. So you can buy Spirit Airlines shares today at about $24.29 a share, and then you get shares in Frontier, which is just over $10. I think it's like $10.45 or so, and basically you're getting those shares plus the additional $4.13 in cash after the deal ends, which should happen sometime latter part of this year, early part of next year. Now, here's the kicker. Part of that cash is supposed to come out in a special dividend on October 3rd for shareholders of record. And so if you purchase it, you can get almost 10% dividend in the next 12 months, and then the opportunity for the equity participation later on. And so it's not a bad gig. I shared my reasons why I'm not interested in investing in the last video. You guys could check it out. It's mostly because I'm just not that fond of airlines, and the value that they bring to shareholders is pretty minimal, especially over the years. And so I'm very concerned about what will happen with that. I thought I would just spend a little bit of time thinking through what any investor should be considering when they're looking at a merger or an acquisition. And so I have 4 questions that fundamentally I try to answer whenever I invest in a merger or an acquisition. And here they are. Number 1, does the merger have a reasonable expectation of completion or consummation? So with in my view, the expectation that it'll complete will be solved this week when the Frontier Spirit merger agreement is voted on by the shareholders, and that's supposed to happen on the 30th of this month, and so it's just a couple of days down the road. And once that happens, then the likelihood that it'll go through is pretty high. However, that is also at the same time that you have the JetBlue offer that is coming through, and they're saying, hey, prior to this, if you want to participate, we are giving you this cash offer, all cash offer, so for a significant premium. With their cash offer and the updated cash offer for Spirit Airlines, we're looking at $33.50 per share for Spirit Airlines if they accept what JetBlue is offering. And so this might be a really, really interesting thing to see, just because Spirit Airlines is basically a minnow getting attacked by a bunch of sharks. And so once the sharks start circling, one of the things to think about is that may offer potential for increased opportunities for investment. Question number 2 that I think about is, what are the possibilities for a protracted or a quickly consummated investment? And so how long is it going to take for this to happen? Now, after the vote on the 30th, the date will be much more likely set in stone of, hey, this is going to occur by December 31st or January 15th or whatever. And the idea is you kind of have to gauge this one. And this one is still kind of up in the air until this vote this week and the documents that will probably come out as a result of that. And so this one might be interesting to make a decent amount of money, just because there is a little bit of confusion on that, but that also includes an additional amount of risk. And if I don't think I would be giving my subscribers or you as my video watchers any type of benefit if you're not thinking about the added risk of prior to this investment. And just because you make money on this doesn't necessarily mean that you did things right. It's just, did you consider the risk that's involved with it? And that actually brings me to my 3rd question. And my 3rd question that I always think about is there a way to make this a minimized risk? And you can actually hedge this. Like, you could sell a certain amount of shares of what you should expect for ULCC and then buy shares of SAVE and use that as kind of your hedge for the investment on whether or not this goes through. But usually that's done after the merger has been approved by the shareholders, because that's usually the time when you know that it's likely to go through. My final question is, can a price appreciation be obtained prior to the merger completion? And usually this is in connection with an additional offer. So having 2 different companies fighting over Spirit does increase the probability that you're going to have this bidding war that's taking place. So Frontier and JetBlue both realize, hey, we want to make sure that the shareholders are on our side, and so that's part of the reason why both of them came out with this additional $2 per share offer for the company. I've seen this in other mergers before, and the more and more I look at it, the more and more I'm like, maybe I need to pay attention to those mergers that include multiple suitors for a company, because usually it can be quite lucrative for the shareholder, and you can get the investment returns prior to the final consummation of the merger, which, that's timing is everything when you're working about special situations. So those are the questions that I usually look at when I'm investing in a merger and participating in that. Speaking of mergers, this week my Cerner merger on all the funds got dropped for that company's purchase by Oracle. And I spoke about this back in the latter part of January, early part of February, because I opened up a position about that time. And Cerner, I bought in at $91.55 a share, and it closed out just this last couple of weeks at $95 a share. And they completed the merger, which that represents an approximate 3.7% return. I know, not a lot to be excited about. However, it was pretty nice because annualized that works out to be about 9% return. All in all, I'm pleased that I continue to preserve my capital for this one. Unfortunately, with the current rise in inflation, I don't know if I've really preserved any capital, but just kept up with inflation at this time and with those funds. So, almost 9%, 10% return on inflation. Just realize one of the things that we're doing with these special situations is we're trying to not only keep up with inflation, but also get capital appreciation. And in this case, it can be quite painful to realize that if I bought hamburgers 6 months ago versus today, I don't know if I would have been able to buy any more hamburgers with the amount of money that I invested in it. So anyway, guys, I appreciate you watching, and if you liked this video, please smash the like button, and if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Anyways, we will catch you next week.